4 years ago, I quit my corporate engineering job 1 year post-college to try making money on my own. And now, just a few months ago, my husband quit his job to join me full-time as well. And this freedom we now have did not come from going viral, having a huge audience, or getting a business loan. It came from freelancing. Even though I had no experience, no plan, no pre-built network, and no financial cushion for my family to fall back on. I started out charging $20 an hour and had to pick up Instacart orders and cat sit on the weekends to make ends meet. And now I'm charging $60 an hour doing work I actually love, and I get to plan my day on my own terms. Freelancing changed everything for me. And today I want to tell you how and how you can start too. Before we jump in, if you could do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button down below, because we're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of our 119-day challenge. And we only have about 70 days left. I graduated with my engineering degree back in 2020, and after just 1 year of being in the job, I realized that it was not for me. And I don't mean engineering just wasn't for me, I mean the whole job thing in general, the whole corporate 9-to-5 structure, it was not for me. I felt totally misaligned and just honestly could not force myself into the 9-to-5 schedule and all the other parts of corporate that I had to fit into to be able to continue on that path. And if you've been following me for a while, then you know that I was not only just sick of doing the job, but I was also dealing with a ton of burnout and physical symptoms and a lot of health issues while in this that made it very clear to me that I needed to quit like ASAP. The problem was that I really didn't have a plan. Like I said earlier, I had no experience. I didn't even know at the time that I really wanted to freelance or even what freelancing really meant. I just knew I had to get out, and like yesterday I had to get out. So I quit with the plan of doing Instacart shopping and pet sitting through Rover to try to make some money while I figured out what I could actually make money in long term that I also actually enjoyed and didn't burn me out like my job. I definitely had quite a few fears at this point, like could I actually make this work? Could this be a long-term living for me? Could this make anything close to the salary I was making at my 9-to-5 job? And at this point, I was still very into the whole social media niche of content regarding building your own business. I was watching things about drop shipping, coaching, selling digital products, all the things. And I thought, well, maybe if I learn how to do this, I could do it myself. But I quickly realized that that whole world was very oversaturated, very complicated and confusing, and also honestly in a lot of instances required a lot of either time investment or money investment that I just did not have. I had already quit my job and I needed to be making money like now to pay the bills that we had right in this moment. So I decided to just start reaching out to people and telling them that I was working for myself, and if they needed any help with their business or if they knew anyone that needed help with a business, that maybe I could help them. And at this point I had no idea how I was going to help them, because I thought freelancing was only for people that had connections or had built a network or had a very specialized or creative skill set. But I've since learned that it is not. It's honestly just for problem solvers, for helpers, and sometimes it's honestly just for someone that can put time into something that a business owner does not have time to do. There's genuinely a niche in an area for literally everyone when it comes to freelancing. So as time went on and I got some of my first few clients, at that time I don't know if I would have really called them clients, but I was helping some people at about $20 an hour doing little odd jobs, things like one of my clients was an interior designer, and I started out just literally being her like design assistant, except I had no design experience. So I was literally running errands for her, I was checking emails for her, I was updating spreadsheets, showing up to deliveries at clients' houses. A different client of mine was an online coach, and I was helping her with website design and some graphic design and social media. And again, I had zero experience besides my very rough YouTube videos that I had been posting on and off for the 2 years prior to this. And my other client was actually an Amazon seller that I was doing a coding project for that ended up being a much longer term coding project. But as you can see, I was doing quite a variety of work. Nothing was niche down, and honestly, I really had no clue what I was doing. But about 1.5 years after I quit my job, I had my first month where I made actually more than I would have been making in my old corporate job. And that's when a light bulb went off and I said, wait a second, I think this actually could work. I think this can actually make money, not just right now, but for the long run. Because at this point, I had literally replaced an entire salary on my own, working for myself with multiple different clients across multiple different industries. I was not niche down, which is the typical advice you hear when it comes to actually being able to make money in your own business or online or anything, which led me to finally raise my rates for the first time. And every time I got a yes from a client, whether from raising my rates or even just pitching them an initial proposal that felt way out of my comfort zone, it started to change how I saw myself and what was possible for me. Because you don't need 100 clients, you just need the right clients that fit you and fit what your skills are, and your skills fit what their needs are. So I began to double down on this whole freelancing thing. And right about this time, something huge happened to me that I never expected, which is that I went live on CNN for an interview about my experience quiet quitting my 9-to-5 job almost 2 years ago at that point. And I was extremely nervous for this interview. Like, I do not like public speaking. I can talk in front of a camera when I'm by myself in my apartment, but doing it live in front of a bunch of people, definitely not my thing. So I prepared a ton for this interview. I did a ton of research. I was processing my thoughts on why I quit my job, what I'm doing now, what the status of the economy looked like when it came to gig work and freelancing, and all of these new opportunities that came from social media exploding, and all of these new jobs and ways to make money that we never considered before. I woke up super early, drove to the studio. They even did my hair and makeup when I got there. I sat in the chair, was mic'd up, ready to go, and they completely blindsided me with what the interview was actually about. The headline was basically, "Is Gen Z just lazy?" I didn't get to talk about all of these new opportunities. I didn't get to talk about how gig work had changed my life. I didn't even really get to share my story about how and why I left my corporate engineering job with all of these great benefits to pursue this new world of making money on my own after learning more about it and seeing what was possible. And although in some ways I'm sad that I never really got to speak my truth in that interview, in other ways it just showed me how unaware most of the world is on the potential and possibilities that come from working for yourself, and how this new culture of working remotely, working online, opens up the door for you to work with business owners all across the country and all across the world in a bunch of different industries. And since then, I myself have worked with dozens of different business owners across almost a dozen different industries, some of them making millions per year. And I was able to do this without building a crazy social media following first. Actually, like, none of my clients have come from my social media following, which is quite small. Again, subscribe. All of these clients came from word of mouth. They came from referral. They came from a network I slowly built up bit by bit over the past 4 years, because I was quietly and consistently showing up every single day for my business, trying to build my business, connecting with people, genuinely looking to help them. And that mindset and drive has brought me more work than I ever could have expected. And that's exactly how earlier this year, my husband was able to quit his job to work with me to do the same thing. In these past 2 months of us trying to figure out how to do this on a higher scale with two people's 40-hour work weeks has been kind of terrifying, but also amazing, because we're finally both living life on our own terms, with our own freedom, on our own schedule, being able to work from anywhere, be at home with our future kids one day, and build something together that is literally funding our entire life. That is the kind of freedom that freelancing gave us, and it's the kind of freedom that freelancing can give you too. So if you are considering doing freelancing yourself, the most important thing that I could tell you is that you need to genuinely, with all your heart, believe that it's possible. Over these past 4 years, when I have had a low point or a less profitable month, I have immediately gone to the fear-based mindset of saying that there's no work out there for me, no one needs my help, I'm never gonna make enough money to continue doing this. But the reality is that the work is out there and people need what you can do. And if you're thinking to yourself right now, well, I don't have any specific skills, I don't even know what I would offer, then I want you to ask yourself these questions. Number one, what do you already do at work that you're good at? So for me, looking back at my job, I was specifically doing transportation engineering. So I was like designing signals and bike lanes and nothing related at all to what I do now. But looking back at not only that job, but the previous internships and part-time jobs I had in college, the thing that I was always good at was the system behind the work we were doing. Looking at the overall goal and being able to break down that large project into manageable tasks was something I loved doing and something I definitely was really good at. And through my side hobby of making YouTube videos, I knew that I was really into the online space, social media, and what was possible for building any type of online business. So I focused on those skills to start with as things that I could help others with, because freelancing doesn't require you to be an expert. You don't need to be the best person in the world at whatever skill you currently have. You can be at literally level 1 of that skill and you will still be helpful to someone. People are not paying for perfection. They are paying to just get something taken off their plate so that they don't have to spend the time doing it. And the second question I want you to ask yourself is, what are people asking you to help them with? This can be not just in your job. I'm talking about your day-to-day day-to-day life. I had people asking me all the time to help them with things like their budget, making big decisions, breaking down tasks for a new idea. A lot of my friends would come to me whenever they wanted to start social media accounts or start a new business, even though at that point I had not done that myself. I had always dabbled in things like creating Etsy shops. I've had multiple different failed-ish Etsy shops, creating my channel here, and even going as far back to doing people's nails when I was in middle school and charging for it. So everyone viewed me and always asked me for advice relating to just how to make those decisions, how to get started on something, how to break down these large projects into smaller tasks. So that gave me a really good indicator, even outside of the corporate world, outside of the work world, at something I was good at that I could offer other people. And remember, you don't necessarily have to be in the corporate world to be a freelancer. You could be a blue collar worker, and instead of working for someone else offering whatever service you offer, you can go out and do that on your own independently. And like I just described, if you're in corporate, you don't need to contract the specific skill set or job that you're doing now, although you could. I definitely could have been a freelance engineer if I wanted to. You can totally, though, like I did, niche into something completely new. But the most important thing here is to not wait to find a niche. You can start doing a mix, because that's what I did and it worked out for me very well. And honestly, to this day, I still do quite a mix. I started with VA work, websites, coding, but it took me a lot of time to figure out what was my thing, what really stuck for me, what I enjoyed doing, what I found a lot of people needed help with, what network I built that matched my skill set, to then get to the point where I'm at now, where I'm way more focused on the online business management space, funnel building, automation creation, and CRM systems and tech stacks, things like that. But all that being said, even though I know what my niche is now, I still am open and flexible to different types of work, learning new skills, because that's worked for me and it helps me figure out what I love and what I want to do, and allows me to tweak and adjust as my business grows. You don't need to wait until you have it all figured out, because I clearly didn't. My first clients were very random and quite messy, if I'm being honest, but they still paid me. So the beauty of freelancing is that you don't need to go viral or build this huge online following before you can start. You don't need to invest in paid ads. You don't need to honestly spend any money. All you have to do is be willing to put yourself out there, share with others what you're doing, and start to network. Yes, in the real world, you need to like go out and talk to people and stuff. Doesn't have to be a networking event, but you know, talk to people, send some texts, call some people, and really just take one step at a time to slowly or quickly, if you want, build up a freelance business. So one day you can quit your 9-to-5 job too. If you are ready to get started with freelancing but don't have any clients yet, then you should definitely go watch this video next, where I talk about my 5-step system to start freelancing this week. And if you've already started or you just want a little bit more help, I'm actually in the process of creating a bunch of Notion templates. Some are ones that I've had since I started that I'm just tweaking and making more user-friendly for you guys. And some are new ones that I wish I had looking back, that instead of having a template for, I was like scratching notes all over the place trying to keep track of it. Think lead trackers, client project managers, budget templates to track your taxes and expenses, all of the things. If that sounds like it would be helpful for you, then check out the link down in the description below to sign up to get more info when those templates are released. And by doing that, you'll also get access to my newsletter to get some more behind the scenes, extra value packed information via email. But with all of that being said, I am seriously rooting for all of you, if you are in any way interested in freelancing, that you will be able to do it in 2025, because again, I think you can start it this week if you really want to. So let me know in the comments down below what you would like to do for freelancing. What do you want to offer? If you have a specific industry or area in mind already, or if you have no clue yet and you're just gonna wing it like I did, then let us know in the comments down below as well, so we can all root for you together. But that is all I have for you guys in today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.